Welcome to the first pilot episode of Bigfoot Club. I am your host, Robert Jesse Dominguez. So I'm so excited about starting this off, and I'm so happy that I got some good friends that's going to help me start this off. So we're going to wing it now. So I just want to go around the room and talk about our introductions to everybody. So I already said who I was. So let's go around the room. And because this is basically people who know me, right? So you guys don't know each other.
You just say know you, but don't know each other.
Right.
So we'll go around the room. So if you wanna start.
Who's starting? Ladies first.
Me first?
Yes.
Ladies first.
So, well, like, where do you want to begin? Like,
How do you know me?
how do I know you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when was it? In 2006 or 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I had my old ghost hunting team, paranormal investigating. It sounds so pretentious, but yeah, that's basically, it was more or less just a bunch of people that hung out at a house and talked about stuff. So I've come a long way. But we had a little meet and greet type thing.
Right.
And you were one of the speakers, and who else was there? It was Todd Partain and
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
It was me, Luke, Billy Simmons,
Oh yeah.
Tim
he brought
Clay,
his cast.
Tim Clay, and Todd Partain. So
I have it on video, but it's
do you really?
yeah, because I filmed it, but it's on mini DV, so I don't know how to watch it. I have to get it converted, but yeah, I still have it.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. I keep meaning to do that because it was really good.
I would love to see that too.
Yeah.
So you and I, we have a paranormal Bigfoot background. So we kind of
Right.
met in Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and I mean we've never done paranormal stuff together, but
No, because it wasn't too long after that. Of course, I didn't really get into the whole, any of the other stuff really for, it was maybe a 2-year period. And then we all just kind of
yeah,
got busy because it's all out your own pocket and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, it's been a while for both. You know, I still like independent research, but I don't really have any desire to get out in the field too much.
you mean the group stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe on occasion, but not like then, not because it takes up a lot of time and you have to really be serious about it, you know. Yeah.
So
I got the mic.
you got the mic.
First, I gotta give a big shout out to my man Robert over here. I know this is a lifelong dream of his, and he's finally putting it to work, and just to be asked to be on this show is one of the most humbling experiences of my life. So, big shout out. Too sweet. Big shout out to Mr. Dominguez over here. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. My name is Chris. I met Robert, I guess it was, I don't even know. I don't know what year it was.
Right. It was at a place of employment.
It was at a place of employment where they throw balls down a lane and hit vertical objects.
When you were the Bob Lebowski.
The Bob Lebowski, I love it. Yeah, we met at the Bowling Congress. He ran facilities there. I did ran the warehouse for BPAA. We kicked it off. First time we ever met, we became friends. He started talking about paranormal with me, which I have a background in paranormal. I have no background in Bigfoot. I'm a wrestling fan, but don't have really any background in covering wrestling or anything like that. I'm just a big fan. Background in paranormal, it's all independent stuff. Just been on my own. Never worked with any groups, never partnered with anybody. It's just all been personal experience and research that I've done on my own. So that's my that's how I met Robert. And I would get a beating at home if I did not give a shout out to my babies and my wife. They think it's the coolest thing that dad and hubby is on the mic. So my babies, Carly, Zoe, Kylan, and Lainey, and my wife Britt, I love you, and thank you for backing me and backing this group and supporting us and letting us follow something that's dear to us. So
Right. Yeah, I think before we go any further, I wanted to give a big shout out to Murphy's Music for providing the Roadcaster Pro. So Murphy's. So we want to give a big shout out to them. So I think I know everybody touched on the basics about Bigfoot and stuff like that and paranormal. So the podcast is going to be pretty much about Bigfoot, paranormal, wrestling, but we could talk about other stuff too. So it's not.
That's just a framework.
Right. It's not in stone.
Jumping off point.
like Jesse from Full House and how he got his name.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of wrestling.
Speaking of wrestling, yeah, okay.
So, is anybody interested on how Jesse from Full House got his name?
I don't really watch Full House, so...
Well, nobody does anymore, but...
Well, I didn't watch it when it was on. Sorry.
Anyway. Okay, I'll save that. Are you interested?
I suppose so. Since you brought it up, might as well continue.
So John Stamos is like a huge Elvis Presley fan.
Right.
Like the biggest Elvis Presley fan you can find. And Elvis, not many people know, had a twin brother that died.
Right.
His name was
Jesse.
Jesse, that's right.
So John Stamos said he'll do the show if he could be named Jesse after... Who says after?
Villains.
I'll get you after. But yeah, he said he'd only do the show if he could be named Jesse. His character could be named Jesse in memory of Elvis Presley's twin brother.
I did not know that. Did not know that.
That's a thing you do.
Fun fact Saturday.
That's why I do so good at Jeopardy.
That was kind of awkward.
I like turtles.
So, so Bigfoot. I know I have an extensive background on Bigfoot. I've been a big fan since I was a kid. Did book reports on it. Drew pictures about it, and I was just fascinated. I think when I was a kid, I used to try to convince other kids in my third grade class. I said, "Hey, when we grow up, I want to be a Bigfoot hunter and go up to Canada." But little did I know, Bigfoot's in Texas. So.
That really helped out.
It did.
You didn't have to travel that far.
Yeah, I didn't
It's
have.
cold.
I didn't have to log in like a bunch of stuff around. So, but it's funny because actually, I was really, really passionate about Bigfoot, and I ended up meeting a guy online by the name of Luke Gross, and he was forming Texas Bigfoot Research at the time. And I reached out to him, and he reached out to me and on an email and said, "Hey, I'm forming a group. Let's meet at this guy's house and let's all get together." So it's real exciting because I was actually one of the 12 founding members of the TBRC and got that going, and it was up and running, and we had a website up and going, and I got to go across the state in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and just research Bigfoot and just like talk to witnesses and stuff. So that was always exciting. So
How long ago was this?
this was like 99, 2000. So it was just something that I was really, really like infused about doing and just helping people. But I think along the way, I was really into documenting stuff and, researching and videotaping and all kinds of stuff. And after a while, I just wanted to help people. So helping people was probably the most important thing to me to do. So I after a while, I just didn't really care about documenting stuff. I just wanted to help, and because there's a lot of people that actually see this animal and they're not really ready for it. So any thoughts on that? Anybody?
Right. Well, I mean, and all that stuff is so tedious too, and the whole point of documenting all that is like to basically be like, oh, look what it's like a pissing contest.
Right.
And when it comes to things like that, or anything else, I don't give a shit about showing someone else my experience.
Right.
Or figuring something out. That's all I really want to do. That's a half of what it is. I'm not, I'm a fence straddler, I guess. I have my own experiences, but I still question those. I don't know because there's no concrete proof.
Right.
But I know what I've experienced, what I've seen, and that's to me. And I'm totally open to being proved that it's something else. Good. That's half of what it is. I want to figure out what's doing this and why.
Right.
And the rest of it's just sprinkles, It's just
Sprinkles are
it
for
doesn't
winners.
matter.
Right.
I
mean, because a lot of times I would get a sighting report, and back in the day, this was like before DSL, before fast internet and stuff like that. I would get a sighting report, and I would look it up on a topo map, and somebody would say, "Hey, I saw Bigfoot," and I would go look at it and go, "I don't know, maybe not," because it's not. There's no vegetation. There's no large bodies of water or anything like that. So, to me, I would always say, "Oh, I'll go check it out anyway." But a lot of times, I wouldn't. I would try to debunk it.
Right.
Most of the time, so
that's how I was with that, and with excuse me, the any of the alleged hauntings and things like that. It's like, let's prove what it is, and until we absolutely cannot prove it's not something else,
right.
then maybe, but nothing's definitive. I mean,
Do you think that's where the interest lies in the mystery of it all?
I think a lot of people, they want to cling on to something, and a lot of people with the TBRC, that because after a while we recruited a lot of people, and a lot of people just wanted to be a part of something that was greater than them. And it's kind of tough because I used to tell them all the time. I said, "Look, we're not scientists, so they're not going to take what we find as very credible." I mean,
by no means, and
right.
people that are like that too, I tend to feel they make things more fantastic than they are,
Yeah.
and want to embellish. And if they want to be a part of something special, then if they don't find it, they'll make it.
It's like the little boy that caught a fish this big, but it was really
This
this
big,
big.
yeah.
So when you're, because like I said, I have no background in Bigfoot at all. I've done a lot of hunting in my life, and I've been in the woods, and I can honestly say that I haven't seen anything that would even remotely make me think that a Bigfoot was out there. But I'm always open to hey, being proven wrong.
Right.
At this moment, I don't believe that there's a Bigfoot out there. I don't believe that he exists. But I know that you've shared stories with me and some experiences that you've had in your past, and some experiences that other people have had, and I'm not one to say for absolute certain that he's not out there. And a part of the reason why I came, chose to do this show or chose to come on the show was because I love to learn. I love to learn about things that I don't. One, I love to talk about things that I like and things that I know about, but other, I like to learn about things that I don't know anything about. And with you two knowing, Bigfoot and out there actually done research and stuff, the reason why I asked the question is, do you think the mystery is the intrigue of it all? Is because that's what intrigues me.
I mean, yeah, partially. I mean, a lot of it. I mean, I don't know so much of mystery as much as the problem solving, because it's like, okay, there's a lot of tangible we know about wildlife that do all kinds of stuff that, the layman wouldn't have any idea. And that's kind of part of it too. That's what I enjoy about it too, is just going out in the woods and learning stuff about what's out there, and not necessarily being like, okay, yeah, for 100%, this is what this was, and this is what we're doing. It's going out. It's like, okay, this is happening. This is going on. Why?
Yeah, what's doing it?
Right. Not this is what happening, and yep, that's what that is. And
but having some kind of thought of, hey, a man couldn't do that.
Right.
You know, like okay, I know for certain that a man couldn't do that. So for 100% certain, I know a man couldn't do that. So what did it? You know.
Yeah. There's lots of different angles to take, and you know, some of it is like whenever someone would submit like a sighting report and a tree would be twisted, like a 4-inch diameter branch would be twisted like 8 feet up, and you kind of look for, you know, service trucks, gas trucks, stuff like that.
Check the weather probably.
Yeah,
is there a storm?
The weather.
You know,
what would do that? So I mean, there's little bitty things you could look at. I mean, because what I always looked at, if there's a sighting, if there's water, and if there's game there, if there's water and game able to sustain like a human, then it'll be able to sustain a Bigfoot. So
what would, because Bigfoot's big. You know, you shared with me a story about how big this guy really is, and he would tiptoe over a fence that a normal man would have to climb.
Right.
So it would have to be a pretty big body of water.
Yeah.
To sustain, because if it's going to sustain a human can live on a pond. You know, if the pond stays full, or a tank, or whatever you want to call it, or a river, you know, a flowing river. It'd have to be something that's constant. It'd have to be something that's pretty big.
Pretty big, because I would think, you know, in my mind that a Bigfoot would need a lot of calories.
Yeah.
So you would look what's in the area. If it's, you know, fish hatchery, there's game, you know, in the area. There's farms. There's pig farms.
Factory.
Yeah, soup factory.
Soup factory.
So there's lots of ways to look at it. I mean, it's I always look for gas right-of-ways and electrical right-of-ways. And a lot of people don't do that, and Bigfoots use that for a sidewalk through counties. So I mean, it's like cutaway areas. And so when someone says, "Hey, I saw a Bigfoot," and I go look, and I said, "Well, does it have a gas right-of-way? Does it have a gas right-of-way or electrical like right-of-way?" So I usually go in those areas and look first. That's how I do it, and you know, other people have different methods of.
So to you, if you get a sighting, you said you went out and you looked at all sightings. If it was a sighting, you went out and investigated it. Mm-hmm. What would be a credible sighting? What would be the evidence that you saw that would be a credible sighting, saying, "Hey, this is a Bigfoot, not just something, not something else."
Usually, what I look for, and I'll let Tuck answer this. I mean, answer this as well.
It's gonna be difficult.
It's gonna be difficult.
We'll
it's gonna be hard.
We'll all grow together.
We're in it to win it.
So, what I'd always look for is like people always say, "Oh, I saw a Bigfoot outside the window. I saw a Bigfoot crossing the road." What I always look for is what it leaves behind, like a footprint. If it did any kind of facial expression, if it gives me a facial expression, and then that's something would, you know, that's credible to me.
Now
like,
this is eyewitness from the person that's doing the sighting, right?
Right.
Not you yourself go out and say, obviously that's credible because you saw it with your own eyes.
Right. Because like if I asked somebody, "Hey, I saw a Bigfoot cross the road," and I said, "Well, you know, what was it doing? What color hair it was?" And they go, "I don't know. It was hairy. It was crossing the road.
It's big and hairy."
I said, "Okay, well,
that's John Doe next door."
Yeah. I said, "So you saw it, right?" Okay.
Funny you should say that because this one time, no. It's bound to happen though, or has, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So credible stuff, I would always look for footprints. I mean, you can't really use that scientifically, but it's a guide. It's a guide to say, okay, something was here. What made it and why? And then whenever someone says, "Hey, I saw this thing," because I think I did a sighting once of a lady in East Texas, and she had a pear tree, and this Bigfoot was ripping leaves off this tree, and it was bending. She said it bent his lips to rip branches. I mean, rip the leaves
Almost,
off.
almost like a chimpanzee,
Right,
or
right.
a monkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, that meant a lot, and
Right.
so I go, man, that's emotion. And so when you can get an eyewitness to elicit emotion and facial features and a sighting, then to me that's gold. So that's me.
So where do you stand on the credibility of these witnesses?
So much in the past. I think like before DSL, before all this internet saturation, I would just think that that they were credible. And nowadays you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Ash?
I do that with anyone.
Yeah.
Even before that, it's just like, because again, everyone wants to be special. Everyone wants to have a story. Everyone wants to fit in somewhere, But I think a lot of it, we didn't do when I did that aspect of it. We didn't do a lot of like going to someone's house that had a sighting. It's just like, oh, here's a group of us. We know that this is an active area. Let's just go out here on the weekend. But when it came to like the ghost hunting stuff or whatever, we would do pre-interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually kind of where we got our jumping off point, was to sit down with the client and to kind of get a feel for them. And you can kind of usually tell what kind of people they are and whatnot.
You can kind of read emotion.
Yeah. And too, back then, that's when all these shows and stuff were really getting really popular.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we would have a lot of, are the ghost hunters here?
Yeah.
Are we on TV?
Yeah.
No.
Guess what, guys? Blue Diamond's out.
Yeah.
Blue Diamond is the dog next door for everybody that doesn't know.
So,
And it ends in love when we're out with Robert. So Blue Diamond loves Robert. So
let me ask you this, Chris.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
question, Chris. So whenever you see like a Bigfoot sighting like on the internet or it's posted, like what are your thoughts on it?
my thoughts are exactly what Ash was talking about. Is my first thought goes to credibility. Who is this person posting it, and why are they posting it?
Right.
Those are the two biggest things to me. Now, again, I'm not here to judge anybody. So if somebody says they saw something, I got to take them for their word. But my first initial reaction is, who is this person? Why are they posting this? And then I look at the film. Just like if I were to do Ash mentioned about ghosts and paranormal. Just like if I were to look at a video of somebody that says, hey, this is a sighting. I see an orb. Well, I go into that with every intentions of it not being an orb. Mm-hmm. I go into
Orbs are bullshit.
every intentions of it being not real. Because my first instinct is to debunk it. Is to say this isn't real, this isn't happening. And if I can't debunk it, if I can't say it's not real, then we start the investigation. I like the way that you pre-interview, because I think in a pre-interview you could be interviewing somebody or watching a video for somebody that posted it online, and you can get a feel of if they're there just for the fame, they're there just for the likes or the subscribers on Facebook.
Like and subscribe and watch my poltergeist as I pull on this fish string.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to debunk paranormal. I think I'm pretty good at debunking paranormal on video.
It's so easy to fake shit now.
It is.
It's ridiculous, and I don't ever think anything's real ever.
Exactly.
It's cool to look at. I look at it from a technical standpoint and stuff, like which one's better, and it's like, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, they almost got me on that
one.
one. But yeah, that's my initial thought is the credibility of it, because if you're going to convince me that something is real, mm-hmm. you're gonna have to bring it. You're going to have to. I'm not a very gullible person. I tend to not trust more than I trust, especially internet.
Internets.
And it's so easy, like Ash was saying, it's so easy for people to fake stuff. Look how good they do it in the movies.
Yeah.
Look how awesome they can do it in the movies.
Planet of the Apes.
Wasn't going quite there. I was thinking more like
Which one?
Which one?
The current one, I forgot
The
what it's
current
called.
One.
So.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I liked
Yeah,
it.
I like those.
I like it, but I was thinking more like Amityville Horror.
Okay.
You know, the newer one with
Ryan Reynolds.
yeah, the hot guy,
Where he runs
Ryan
a
Reynolds.
lot. He's in bathtub a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Well, you should watch it. Look at Ash over here. She's
You know.
she's dreaming about Ryan Reynolds with his shirt off.
Who doesn't?
Don't worry, my wife did the same thing. So
I'm raising my hand.
Maybe a little bit,
We
just
were-
like out of the appreciation.
We were-
yeah, I can appreciate that.
hey,
Appreciation
hey,
stuff.
I've been with my wife almost 20 years. Been married 15 and 16, and I can appreciate when a guy's nice looking. Ryan Reynolds is a nice looking guy. So.
Yeah, he is. I don't
But
know.
in the movie theater, we were watching it, and I don't think my wife was scared at all because she was
He's
just
just too
focused on him
hot.
being too hot. So
That's the like right after Blade 3 when he went from goofy Ryan Reynolds Van Wilder to
to Vampire
six-pack.
Hunter,
Yeah,
I think that's probably one of the most streamed Ryan Reynolds shots is when he's chained to the floor and homegirl comes in with her possessed dog. Yeah,
her little Pomeranian.
yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it? You haven't seen the third Blade movie?
No.
It's not as good as the first one, but I can appreciate it because it's supposed to be a campy horror movie, and people don't get that
Yeah.
a lot of times when it's making fun of itself.
I could tell you this: the only reason I watched it was Jessica Alba. So
Was she in it?
she was
Yeah.
in leather the whole movie,
okay.
so it made
She
it worth
was
it.
an archer,
I don't know what I was
Maybe.
doing then. I think I was Bigfoot researching or something.
probably.
Yeah.
2005, 2004.
2005, 2000.
Kid.
But yeah, so yeah, credibility.
Yeah, I think right now, I don't know if you guys are on a lot of Bigfoot Facebook groups, but
no.
there's I'm on a couple, and there's always a guy on there all the time. It's like they rotate or something, and they'll post something and they'll say, "Believe it or else." And
Or else?
yeah, they
else?
they like get upset when
Or else what? They're gonna take it down.
What?
they get
They'll
their
type loud at you.
they get so
All caps.
butthurt. They get so butthurt if you don't like their stuff or
Oh
agree
my
with it,
God.
and it's like, and I tell them all the time, grow some tough skin, because you're in a field of unclassified animals.
And if you can't do that, just keep your shit to yourself.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time. I said you should take a basket weaving class or something.
Those are the ones that were probably like, back in the day. Hey, you want to go out in the woods? Fuck no, I don't want to go out in the woods.
Who would ask you that?
I don't know, but it would happen,
On Facebook?
yeah. Or, MySpace.
MySpace. Okay.
Back when,
We're dating ourselves there.
yeah.
Fun
Well,
fact. I still have a MySpace account.
Do you
I
really?
think mine's still there, but I can't get into it.
Yeah, I don't know how to get into it. but-
I can find it, and I got some pictures off of it. But
Didn't Justin Timberlake buy MySpace or something?
He needs to.
I think
That guy's cool.
I like Justin Timberlake.
I like him too.
You think Justin Timberlake believes in Bigfoot?
maybe.
God, I hope so.
You should,
He's so
you should
cool.
take him in the,
I
that
would,
would be hilarious.
I would, I would take him to the woods
Yeah.
and show him some stuff.
That would be fun.
Not my stuff, but
Robert, that sounded kind of. We need to mark that. Mark that. Robert would take Justin Timberlake in the woods and show him.
he's cool.
I
he's
heard
cool
that's
dude.
what you guys were actually doing out there.
Now I expect that maybe coming from Ash, but Robert,
No,
come on.
no,
now.
no.
You don't like Justin Timberlake like Ryan Reynolds?
He can dance. He
Yeah.
can sing.
I don't not like Justin Timberlake.
I think he's a pretty talented dude.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
He is. He's very talented.
I was just more of a Backstreet Boy person.
Okay. She goes to the back street. I just think that him and Jimmy Fallon do the funniest skits ever in the history of the world. When they do their camping scenes and their
Yeah.
I bless the rains down in Africa.
Dang. I thought you would be the first one to start singing something, but
No.
he beat you to it.
I busted
No.
it out. I couldn't help it.
Special occasions.
That's for my wife though, by the way, Britt. That was for you. I love you. There we go.
Sorry.
Was that supposed to be that?
I don't know. It's supposed to be something cool, I guess.
Blue Diamond
no,
liked it.
I could do this one instead.
Hey, Blue Diamond liked it.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Sorry.
I have a new toy.
So yeah, there's like I was saying, there was tons of people on Facebook that just they get their feelings hurt like really really quick, and they probably shouldn't be posting stuff.
So what would your advice be? You asked me what I look for whenever I see Bigfoot or anything.
Right.
What would your advice be to people that are skeptical or people that just don't flat believe? What would your advice be when somebody, if they were to see a video or a post or something like that?
Like trying to convince them or something? Or?
Maybe not just trying to convince them, but maybe they just run across it and they're like, wow, that looks real. Wow, that's kind of scary.
Starting the Bigfoot stuff in 99, 2000, it was like there was two classes of people. There were people who saw it, and they're like Lou Gross said to me when I first got into Bigfoot stuff. He says, Bob, you're going to see this thing or you're going to do this, and it's going to get your hooks in you or you're never going to come back.
Right.
So that's usually what happens to people when they see a Bigfoot. They don't want nothing to do with it ever again, or they just, it gets their hooks in them and it's part of their lives. So people who haven't seen it and really want to get into it, be careful what you ask for. Because if you go in the woods and you see this thing, you're going to have some colorful shorts. They may not even come back. So
I don't know. Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Ash?
Well, I don't think you can convince anybody of anything, ever. No matter what, and that's one thing that people have to understand. No matter how much you go, look, until someone sees it, and someone experiences it, it doesn't mean anything.
What's the number one question people ask you about Bigfoot?
I have no idea, honestly.
Number one they ask me is like, if he's out there,
Oh. Yeah.
why haven't we found a body?
Yeah.
They ask me that every time.
Why don't you want to shoot one? Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot anything. And especially that.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that
That's
just seems like an asshole thing. I don't need a body to prove something exists because fuck you.
Well, I mean, why don't you want to shoot it? Are you going to eat it?
So you have definitive proof.
I guess, yeah.
Right.
So you have definitive proof, but
It's going to be somebody that's not looking for Bigfoot and actually ends up shooting one or killing one.
Like, what was it? It was on Coast to Coast AM, wasn't it? That guy called in and said that he had killed some. I don't know how bullshit it is or not.
Are you talking about the one that he killed 3 or something like that and buried them?
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how true but I feel like that would be how people would react.
Yeah.
That seems like because they thought they were people. Or whatever, everyone's a badass until it comes down to
I mean,
yeah.
I've talked to hunters that were on a deer stand, and Bigfoot walked up to him, and the guy had a pretty good sized rifle. And I go, why didn't you shoot it?
because you're in the moment. I mean, it's just like when we're out in the field and you go to put stuff up and shit starts happening and
Right.
you just stand there and listen or watch it and you don't press record.
Well, his answer to me was, it looked like a homeless guy. It looked like a man. It looked like a man with long hair.
And
But-
it could have very
but-
well have been.
But tall and large.
You're right.
Tall enough to peek into his deer stand?
Well, he was on a deer
Or
stand.
was he on a sit stand?
He was, I think, I don't remember the story. I mean, I do remember he was on a deer stand and he was pretty high up, and he said this thing just walked up to him and just looked up, and he said if he could have reached out and grabbed me, he could have, but he didn't. So that was to me that would be pretty scary.
Yeah.
So
It would be pretty scary.
It'd
but
be frightening and amazing at the same time.
the
if
same
nothing
time.
bad happened, and
yeah, that's if Again, my papa, he and you'll hear my papaisms a lot on as we go through because he had a lot of them. But he said you never know what you're gonna do until you're in that moment.
Right.
So you can talk all the smack you want to talk, and you could be as big and bad as you want to.
Right.
But until that sucker's looking you in the face,
And you're looking at something that
you don't understand.
You never
yeah.
expected. You know.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you don't expect it, especially as a hunter.
You're just.
You think even as a Bigfoot hunter or investigation, you truly expect to see Bigfoot?
No.
I
don't
think,
expect it.
I think if they're good people and they know what they're doing, they know where to go. They might. And if they're one of these, yahoos that just get on the internet and say, I'm going to go look for a Bigfoot. I'm going to go look for a Bigfoot. And they don't know what they're doing. So there's...
Do you think that's cause for a lot of failed investigations?
Yeah, and plus this, Bigfoot's it's like a deer. It has super, hearing, super smell, super sight.
Wild
but
animal.
Yeah,
but he's got a big brain. So
he doesn't have just a big noggin; he's got a big brain.
I mean,
Yeah.
for example, when was it? In the early 1900s was the first time that they discovered mountain gorillas in Africa, and up until then, it was a myth. So that's
I think
less than 200 years that we've known about that.
I mean, I think anything that's taboo, is a myth until proven. And that's kind of what Bigfoot is. Bigfoot is a myth. And I think people get wrapped up in the myth of it, and I think Bigfoot's cool. But I think Bigfoot's cool as far as like a comic book is cool.
Right.
Or an action figure is cool.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how I look at stuff. It's like I like to watch all these shows and listen to podcasts and stuff like that. And it's like I don't necessarily believe it's true, but it's just like, like urban legends and stuff like that. It's interesting.
it is.
It's very intriguing. I mean, we can make the same case for aliens.
Right.
Right.
There's been tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of sightings, and even our U.S. government said that, hey, we have a flying object we can't identify.
Yeah.
And I've seen stuff that, would make me think, what the crap? Hey, what the heck is that? But yeah, I think it's to me, it's the intrigue of there being a possibility of it being real.
When it gives you just enough to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's like one of those alien type stories I really like is the Montauk stories and the Philadelphia experiments and all that, where it gives you just enough where it's like, these are real people. Like famous scientists that allegedly worked on this project, and they kind of like Tesla and people like that kind of like lived in both worlds anyway. And
I mean, because I personally have never seen a Bigfoot, but I've seen stuff that I can't explain. I've heard stuff that I can't explain. So, I mean,
But you've seen enough yourself in the field for you to definitively say that there's a Bigfoot out there.
Yep. I've done some stuff in the field, and I've run into like situations and I go, "Yep, he's here." But
And I'll tell you this is I trust you beyond trust,
Thank you.
And I believe you beyond belief. But I think sitting here, even still, I have the mindset of
and that's okay.
yeah. And I think that's the intrigue of it is I know you so well.
Right.
And I trust you so well that, man, if this guy here is saying that I saw this, and this guy here that I trust so much is saying, hey, that is what Ash was saying. That's just enough for me to be like,
yeah,
I think it's out there. I think it's out there. I think there's a possibility of it maybe something that we don't understand.
I mean, I've had experiences and I'm still on the fence about it.
Yeah. I've been in the field with Ash.
Yeah.
And
I still, because the thing that really messes up that situation for me is the people that we were with, not to name names, but
Oh, by all means, do.
Oh well, I mean, I
You
don't
think they
have-
tampered it?
I'm
You think they
kidding.
tampered with stuff?
I'm kidding.
I hope not, but it's possible because again, that somebody is later on and figured out that he'd like to tell a good story every now and again because everyone wants to
Yeah.
be special.
And that's
Yeah.
that's gonna happen with the when you have the human aspect of it. That's gonna happen because I've had experiences in paranormal where it was just me. I was the only one there, and I know for an absolute fact I was the only one there, and these things were happening.
Right.
But then I've had paranormal experiences when other people were there. Well, I'm definitely going to believe my experiences when I'm alone than when I'm with somebody else.
Right.
Especially if I know that somebody else that I'm with is kind of a prankster or would possibly do something like that.
Well, like in that moment,
It was real.
I was like, okay, you got me convinced. I'm totally down. This is what this is going on. But as time went on and I seen this guy's true colors, which were not very good ones.
And the sad part about it, there's tons of people like that in the field.
That goes back to credibility.
Yeah.
That goes back
it
to
does.
credibility.
It does.
That's why I'm very, very selective. I don't do teams anymore because, it's like, oh, we need numbers. And it becomes less about who all you're letting in. And I would do independent stuff, sure, but I need to know where we're going, who's going to be there, and then I'll decide if I'm going to participate. Because, back then it was about I don't give a shit about my name because I already pissed off plenty of people.
Yeah, I think at this point too, I don't really care what anybody thinks about me or what I did or how I did it.
But on the flip side, I don't want to be associated with some crazy
Well, yeah,
horrible motherfuckers.
yeah. You don't want your name
Right.
attached to that. You don't. Yeah. So you got to vet who you have to have a vetting process of who you interact with and who you go out with. So.
Well, yeah, and back then too, it was like the team that I eventually ended up with was very involved in like the historic downtown program of the town that it was in and stuff like that. So we didn't want, we had to pick and choose who we were with because the city finds out and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
When we were trying to do some good stuff for them too.
And you bring up a good point about the city finding out because once the city finds out, what is that? That's news for the city. Because they say in anything, good news or bad news, is good, right?
But at that time we were they would let us into properties and things like that pretty easy, and we were doing fundraising for the downtown program and stuff like that, so we had to maintain a real like professional appearance,
And a lot of times when you're doing stuff like this, it's not very professional.
No.
Especially if you're going on a ghost hunt and the ghost that you come in contact with is not professional. There's gonna be things that happen then.
And two, you have to put up with a lot of bullshit that I not necessarily want to be a part of anymore. Because I mean, I don't want to play nice with people anymore when they're throwing some stupid shit at me now. And I'm sorry, and that's why most of the time I tell people it's like you're not going to like what I have to tell you, because I don't like to lie to people. I don't like to give them what they want to hear. I want to tell them the truth, and that's not what they want.
No, they want likes. They want subscribers. I mean, as an individual investigator, it's difficult to get into places. They don't want to let just an individual in. So if you're part of a group, it's easier to get in, especially if you're part of a credible group, and so it's harder as an individual to actually go out and investigate these things unless you know the individuals that I got a friend that has a haunted house. Okay, let me go investigate.
Right.
I mean,
I was just going to say that I know you had a rough time with the paranormal group that you're with, and I was just the opposite spectrum for that.
Right.
I was the case director for paranormal investigations of North Texas under Kendall Wilkerson, and she's fabulous.
Well, I mean, like my team that ended up, with my second team that I was a part of, with Michelle and Sandy. That was great. It was a lot of fun, but people did not like us. They didn't like us at all because we didn't prescribe to psychics or anything. It was purely scientific. we didn't like to investigate homes because there's so many people that want to be on TV and stuff. Unless, like, you know, a lot of times if someone says, like, something's scaring my kid or things like that, when people needed help, then, of course, we would do that. But, you know, we pissed a lot of people off because we wouldn't tell them, like, oh, yes, your business is haunted. Here's this tourism for you.
Exactly, yeah.
And there's a lot of places, like, there's a hotel here in, I think the one in Waxahachie. And I'm not sure that,
The Baker? No, that's the
No, that's in Mineral Wells.
Mineral Wells.
is
That's
it
right.
Yeah, the Bakers.
the Rogers Hotel?
That sounds right.
Right. And I'm not sure what this guy was doing, but yeah, trying to start their own little ghost walk. And they could have done that very easy with with real stories, but he decided to give us a whole bag of lies.
Yeah, it's
This investigator,
it's the Rogers Hotel, 100 North College Street, Waxahachie, Texas.
you know, and it's an awesome hotel. I would stay there again. It's beautiful, and I'm sure it has lots of history and lots of angles that he could have taken to use that, but instead all these made up murders and suicides and stuff like that, and this fantastic stuff. It's like, why you gotta lie to people when you can tell them the truth and it can be just as good?
Yeah, I think the truth is more scary than a lie.
Right. I mean, that's what we did whenever we did. It's just like, well, over here, this hooker was murdered back in 1870, you know, and over here, this is where they used to sell coffins and, you know, things like that, you know.
And I think we go back to credibility again. The truth,
Right.
The truth brings credibility. A lot of times you can't prove the truth, but you can absolutely disprove a lie. You know,
Yeah.
Debunk stuff.
You
Yeah.
can
Absolutely.
debunk anything.
Yeah, I think when I was the case director for Penn, Texas, and we currently have a Facebook page, which you guys are a part of as well. So thank you very much. Want to give a quick shout out to all the members on it, and if you're downloading this, yeah. So,
That's for you who download it.
yeah, for those of you who downloaded it. But while I was with Penn, Texas, man, we had a code of conduct, and we had a release of liability for every
And
client.
that's smart.
And
that's so smart.
That's the best thing to do, because, you know, you want to cover yourself, because people will sue you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you go into a lot of these places and they're historical sites with fragile ass antiques and shit like that.
Yeah.
And places you don't need to go because it's dangerous and everything like that. Yeah. No, we had people from my old team dropping our names a lot of places. Like, I think one of them was the Catfish Plantation. The other was at my friend's coffee shop in Jefferson. That's now, I think it's a restaurant, but it was across the street from the hotel there. But, we know these people. And they broke shit in my friend's store. And they fell through a ceiling, or put their foot through a ceiling at the Catfish Plantation.
Yeah.
Using our name to get permission to get in there with these people that I no longer associated with, because, again, I feel like they were the ones that, everything happens to us. We have a portal in our living room and all kinds of bullshit. Crazy people.
Yeah. I think those are when you go into an investigation, you got to go into it respecting what you're going into. Because if you don't respect it, you're just going to make yourself look like an idiot. Damaging somebody's property when you're on investigation
Absolutely
is not going to help your cause.
And
You know what kind of helps that? If you hold the numbers down.
exactly.
If you control who goes into what,
Absolutely.
at what time, and you kind of clock it, say, okay, you got 20, 30 minutes to be over here, see what you can do.
Yeah,
and-
that's kind of how we would do it. It's like we would rotate, but we would do walkthroughs beforehand. And be like, okay, like, do not walk here. You will fall 3 stories if you walk through here,
Yeah.
and things like that, you know. But I mean, it does cause the situation when people don't listen, because somebody's going to get hurt, someone's going to break something, someone's going to go somewhere they don't need to.
And that again is putting yourself with the right people.
Right.
You know, putting yourself around the right people, putting yourself with people that are doing it for the right reasons. I know Robert and I talk quite a bit. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. Robert and I work together now. And we talk quite a bit about, even when we started talking about doing this podcast, we talk quite a bit. The reason why we do this is because we want to help
people. Yes.
We
Right.
want to give them a platform to not feel like they're being judged, and feel like, hey, these people I can go to and I can share this stuff, and they're gonna help me, you know, not come in and destroy my coffee shop because they want to. They want ratings.
Yeah. You know.
So that's a big part of I've been through so much, and I've talked with Robert about this too off mic, but now that we're on mic, I believe wholeheartedly that if I wanted to be, I could be a medium. I could talk to the other side. I've had so many experiences, and I've had so many things happen in my life to where it was so personal and so real that if I open that door, the only thing is I'll never open the door. I'm never going to open it because I can never close it if I do open it.
And I assume that you're not running around telling everybody that can hear that, oh, I'm a sensitive, I'm special. And
No.
like, yeah, that's usually when I can tell, you know, I'm very, again, like I have my own experiences, I have my own things. But more often than not, I find when people seem legitimate when it comes to things like that, they tell things matter-of-factly. Like, yeah, this is what happened, you know, and it's not something that they want to flaunt and tell everybody and experience all the time and go and run around and do all these investigations and ghost finding and whatever, because I feel like that would like mess you up big time.
Absolutely.
If you're that way.
And here's my thing. I don't go around sharing it with everybody because every time I share it, I relive it.
Right.
And it's not something that I want to relive all the time unless I'm reliving it to try to help somebody through theirs. Because what happened to me is it was very, very, very intimate.
Right.
You know, it was a very intimate moment that I had in my life, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
And eventually I will share it. Eventually I will share the story. Not on the pilot. This is the first one, but eventually we'll get there. But in that moment, I lived that, and when I share the story or when I think about it, I relive it again. And you can see right now. I know y'all can't see here, but y'all can see that it shoots chills up my spine. Blue Diamond is
There's a monster outside.
is getting it.
Blue Diamond.
So, but yeah, I think you hit it right on the nail. If somebody is so free and so open to just be like, oh, I did it. If I never told you, you never know.
You're right.
You would never know that I would be into paranormal or anything like that.
I mean, there's tons of people right now that I talk to and on the Facebook group that want to do investigation, and I you know I honor that. You know, I say, okay, that's cool. But do you really want to do one? Because
What?
They don't understand
And
that
why?
it's going to be boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Probably nothing's going to happen. If it does, it's just going to be a little, and then you're done.
It's long hours. It's a lot of work. It's very tedious, and you have to be mentally strong.
You don't get a montage like on TV.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, you don't get the edited version of it.
It doesn't fast forward in real life.
You don't get to rewind it, and you don't get to see it over and over and over. You don't get to.
It's me, your boy.
Yeah, boy. You don't get do-overs in real life.
No, you don't. You don't. It's some, you know, it's pretty scary a lot of times, and it's, you know, I was saying I was lucky with Penn, Texas, because we had a lot of good people, and they cared, and all we did was people's houses that had kids in it. They had, if kids were in trouble, we were there. So I can say that about Kendall. Kendall's great people. I love her to death, and I know you guys hadn't really met her, but you know, it's funny that she kind of like recruited me from like Bigfoot, because she was looking for a seasoned researcher. So she recruited me, and she used to ask the group, okay, I need someone to go to the basement, or I need someone to go to the attic. And I would raise my hand quick, and she goes, Bob, you don't have to do it every time. And I go, Kendall, I used to be in like like canyons and trees and
And plus,
and creek beds
my
and
day job,
at night
I have to do that anyway.
with mosquitoes.
Right.
So I'd do it in an attic or a basement.
I would be more afraid of the attic and basement than I would be in the
Right.
middle of the canyon.
Right. But I would say,
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, not even close.
but I used to say to her all the time, that's easy.
Yeah.
So, but she was great people, and we're on a break right now with her, and she's gonna be, when she comes back, she's gonna want to return Penn, Texas back to investigation status. So she's gonna be recruiting some people. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm probably gonna help her get that back up and going. Probably still be the case director for her, but she's good people, man. I mean, there's two people that I feel, besides you two guys,
No,
I feel really, really good about. But like Luke Gross is one,
absolutely.
and Kendall Graves is the other, or Kendall Wilkerson, sorry, is the other one.
Did she get married?
She got married, yeah.
Okay.
Because I used to.
I didn't know if Graves was kind of like an
stage
AKA,
name.
like also known as her stage name, because it fits perfect, So,
But she's good people, and I cannot say enough good things about her because she's good people. So, but yeah, there's people that in the Penn Texas group that keep asking me about investigations and stuff like that, and we're gonna get there again. But
it's because I know so many of them are on there, and that want to go on investigations, and I get that some of them just want to go on investigations just to go on investigations. How are you going to handle that?
Well, here's the thing. Before we go on an investigation, we're probably going to recruit people, probably get their skill set, see what they're good at, probably keep the numbers low, and probably do a code of conduct, like I was saying. Release a liability, do stuff like that, and probably do it that way and see who has what kind of equipment, and then probably, because I get a lot of hits all the time on people asking me, hey, I need help, I need an investigation. So I get inquiries all the time. So
Well, and another thing you could consider, because this is something we used to do too, is like we would get a lot of that too, and friends and other teams wanting to come visit and things like that. So we would take a group of people, like limit like 20 or whatever, depend on the place, and go in somewhere we had already investigated and just kind of do a walkthrough.
right.
And kind of do like, well, we already know what's going on here. It's like, we'll observe, and you newbies can like try it out, it's kind of like a controlled setting, but
Right.
not at the same time.
so you kind of know where all the hot spots are at. So
Right.
see if they pick up on it.
Right. And just,
And I think, and y'all both hit on this earlier. It is boring.
oh my God.
It is boring sitting around waiting for something that's not here to do something.
What we would do all the time because we would frequent the lovely Jefferson, Texas a lot.
My sister just moved to Jefferson, by the way.
Which is also a huge party town.
And it's also a huge Bigfoot area.
Yeah.
too.
So it's like everything that and really good barbecue and things like that, and biker bars. So yeah, I'm going to retire there one day.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm going to buy the Urquhart house.
Not me.
I love it. But
Me too.
we would make people mad because we'd be there. We'd rent a bed and breakfast. We'd be there like for 30 minutes or whatever. And like, nothing's happening. Just leave everything running. We'd leave and go drink and sing karaoke. Because, I feel like a lot of times that's the best thing to do. Just set everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's boring.
Yeah.
You sit around for a long time, and then here's the thing that's even worse than that is going over all the hours and hours
That's
and
the
hours and
worst.
hours of recordings and tapes and
Yeah.
and trying to and looking, and your eyes are always going to play tricks on you,
Especially when you were up until 2, 3
Exactly.
o'clock in the morning and you're like awake on whatever Red Bull and Claritin D concoction we used to make to stay awake.
Yeah.
And you just,
Man, I'll admit this,
Yeah.
and I'll be the first to admit I'm not really good at that.
yeah. No, I hated it.
I'm not either, because I'm going like this and
We did it
I'm
'cause we
nodding like
had
this.
to. you know.
But
But I think that right there separates the passion from the non-passion.
Right.
I think that separates from the individuals that, hey, I'm interested in this because this happened to me and I want to know why.
I have a passion for it, but I don't give a shit about recording stuff.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
tape
I just
anymore.
want I want to go out.
I want my own experience and my
Exactly.
own answers because nobody's gonna believe me anyway.
Yeah. Because
Well,
I've shared my story with people and they're like, whatever, I don't believe you. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's
And
not
I get
about
it.
you, man. It's about me.
Yeah. It's not about me trying to convince you that my story is real. It's me just sharing,
Yeah.
something. And I don't do that very often. I don't share that with a lot of people.
no, you don't. So that's good though, because that shows that you're a good person. You have to trust person to talk to them about that. So
But this is a platform where I'm completely open to doing that.
yes, openness.
Because I want people
It's
to
gonna
know.
get colorful as time goes on,
Yeah.
especially when I get more comfortable with everything.
But I just want people to know that this is a platform for you to come, or if you know anybody that is going through something, to say, hey, you can reach out to me. We're not therapists by any means.
Right.
We don't have any degrees or any certifications or anything like that. We're just real people that have experienced real experiences that just want to let you know that you're not the only one out there.
Right.
And I think that's half the fun of it. Just like with the Bigfoot stuff, sometimes I don't give a shit about going in the woods. I just want to kick it with my homies.
Yeah. I mean, because like you have to kick it with people that you trust, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I used to tell people all the time. Because people used to reach out
Right.
to me all the time and say, "Hey,
No.
let's go to the woods," and I would always say,
No.
"Just because you like Bigfoot doesn't mean I got to go to the woods with you."
Just because
Exactly.
you like Bigfoot and I'm the only girl that you can find.
Right.
Yeah.
doesn't
And
count me.
that's kind of what I was getting at with the people that want to go on the
paranormal?
the paranormal investigations. Just because you want to go on an investigation doesn't mean we're going to go on an investigation.
We
Well,
didn't just become
yeah.
best friends.
You know?
Sorry.
I think it's good to vet people because, like I was saying before, there are people that are really serious about it, and there's people that just I want to do it, you know, and
Which is okay. That's cool.
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that because I think because I'm planning a meet and greet probably after Steven's wedding, which is late October, Halloween. But
Next Saturday.
Hey,
yeah, it's next Saturday.
Colleps on a boat.
Colleps on a boat. Oh yeah,
on a
yeah,
boat.
yeah. You're gonna be in what the Caribbean or
No, Cozumel.
Cozumel? Yeah.
I'm gonna be on a
What?
boat. My first time.
White
my
Mexico.
first time, by the way.
Watch out for the cartel.
Yeah, the cartel and don't drink the water.
Montezuma.
But my first time on a boat, and I can say that I'm a little freaked out.
Boats and O's.
Prestige,
Who's
Sorry.
driving the boat?
so much more room for activities.
So I was saying that we're probably gonna do a meet and greet probably later on this month, and we're probably gonna. It's gonna be probably just to talk about paranormal and who wants to go to that extra step, and probably look to recruit some people for Penn, Texas. Now, there's two groups in the Penn, Texas right now. There's Dirty South Paranormal. Matthew is the director of that group, and then Brad Freeman is, I don't know, I can't remember the name of this group. Forgive me, Brad. DFW Paranormal, I think. But anyway,
You're just throwing stuff out there right now.
That probably exists.
Yeah.
somewhere.
You just shouted out
Just
to somebody.
somebody. There's probably more than one.
Yeah,
Brad, I'm sorry. But
It's their fault for not coming up with an anagram like everybody. You gotta come up with a good thing that spells something, man.
I'm sorry. He's probably going to be a guest on the show too. So,
Hey, you should probably know the name of his group.
well, when he gets here, I will.
No, this was on the fly. It wasn't prepared.
Yeah, it was on the fly.
We
So.
don't know what we're doing.
But he's a good dude.
But Brad, you're a good dude.
So I'm pretty excited about that, and excited about the podcast too. So, because I've been asked to join the Dirty South Paranormal, and Matt's a good dude. It's just I think I've moved past Bigfoot research and paranormal research. I mean, I think I'm gonna help people. There's other ways you could help people.
Absolutely.
Get people together, recruit them, and put them in good situations to do good investigations to help other people. So,
Passing the torch.
yep.
So other people are prepared when we're ghosts and we fuck with them hard. I can't wait for that. I can't wait till I die so I can mess with these people because I know what they're doing.
I can tell you my first experience when I had my first experience with the paranormal. I was young. I was a kid, and at that time, I was so just did not want to tell anybody because I knew that it was something that I can't explain, and I was afraid that if I told anybody that I would just be looked at as this crazy, goofy kid that doesn't know anything. So I kept it in for a long time, and I had experience after experience after experience after experience, and the more that I kept it in, and the more that I just tried to hide it like it didn't happen, it seemed like the stronger they would get. And I hated it.
Like your experiences?
Yeah, my experiences.
So each time would get
stronger, would multiply, would intensify. And when it got to the point to where I actually saw a manifestation, that's when I was like, okay, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. And I never went to a group. I never went to a specific, group of people. I just went to people that I trusted.
Now the investigator side of me is kicking in right now, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Bring it.
So, when you had these incidents, and it multiplied each time, right?
Absolutely.
So once you had these incidents, did you notice like smells or or feelings or how you felt whenever it happened?
Absolutely. The feelings that I felt were it was almost like when you walk into a freezer for the first time.
Cold, just okay.
Like if you were to be standing outside of a deep freeze with no jacket on,
okay,
and you open the door, and that cold breeze just hits you, right? That's how it was when it was at its most intense. Before that, it was just hair standing up, just tingling in my. The thing that really got me were my thoughts. My thoughts were what I focused on the most. And I think I focused more on my thoughts because I was scared. I was legitimately scared. And when I would think about what this could be and what could be happening, your imagination's always going to be bigger than what's in front of you. And I try to make my imagination grow smaller. I try not to let my imagination run away with itself because I wanted to stay grounded. Smells, no, never any smells. Cold, and really, I think I was focusing so much on my thoughts and not letting my imagination go away. I probably missed a lot.
Were you angry? Did it make you angry?
I was always angry. Okay. That's a good question. I was always angry. I think that just came from the fear. I think I was angry because why? And this happened in several locations. It wasn't the same place every time, so it was following me. But it manifested for the first time when I was 12. And
do you think it was the same entity that was?
I believe so. Because the feeling, man, if I could describe the feeling inside, I would. The feeling was always the same. It almost became familiar. It almost became like I knew this. Does that make any sense? I don't know if it makes any sense.
It does.
I'm trying to describe it the best I can.
You were a kid.
And when I was 12, it manifested itself.
What it looked like?
It was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve, and my brother and sister and I we were in the same room. We all had to share the same room. We had to move in with one of my mom's friends, and we were all in the same room. And this was, I was 12, so whatever year it was. But anyway, it was Christmas Eve. And when you came out of our room, you'd walk down the hallway, and you could be halfway down the hallway. You could turn right. You could go to the bathroom, or you could turn right, and you would walk into our dining room. And I'd been up for a while. It's Christmas Eve, man. I'm excited. I want to go get presents. I never went to sleep. I got up to go to the bathroom, and I was on the top bunk, and I was stepping down. And I got to the door, and when I got to the door, I felt it. I knew that it was there.
The coldness?
Yeah. And I almost didn't go into the hallway. But I really had to pee. So my desire to
Relieve yourself.
relieve my pee overcame the chill of what was going on. So I headed down the hallway, and when I headed down the hallway, like I said, you pass to the left, you pass the dining room, and sitting at the table was a little girl.
I remember the story.
You remember this?
Yeah.
Sitting at the table was a little girl.
Yeah.
And this little girl was sitting there as if a little girl was sitting there. And what was odd to me is she was using a pin with a feather.
Period
Piece. Very much a period piece.
Okay.
And when I walked by and she saw that I saw her, she was gone. But I'll tell you the most intriguing thing about it was there was a pencil on the table.
I do remember that part of the story too.
And I could hear the pencil fall. But it was a pencil. It wasn't a pen with a feather. It was a pencil.
Manifestation and usually moving objects usually takes a lot of power.
Yeah, a lot of power. And I'll tell you this: in our backyard was a transformer. We had probably about I would say 65-yard backyard, and it dumped off into a creek. And I don't know if anybody in my family has ever heard this story. I don't know if I've ever shared it with them. This might be the first time they
probably get to hear it.
It's probably the first time they'll get to hear it.
Maybe,
but,
maybe they've experienced something.
Yeah,
too.
and I would love to know. Once they listen to it, I'd love to know. But it was probably about a 65 yard backyard, and it dropped off into a creek. But right in the back of it, it lined, and there was a transformer right there, and it ran right over our house. A lot of power.
Yeah,
a lot of power. And back then, I didn't realize the power. I didn't realize what it takes for it to manifest. I didn't realize any of that. I was 12 years old.
right.
And I saw this little girl sitting at my table. There's no little girls in my house. The only girl in my house was my sister, and
She's older than you.
she's older than me. So, yeah, that was when I was like, okay, this is legit, and this is when I'm going to start doing some research. At 12, and I really didn't do any research then, but whenever I got older,
Right.
is when I really started doing research. So, yeah,
Thank you for sharing that story.
absolutely.
I do remember that story you telling me at USBC. Just really quick note, we're over an hour and
Oh, wow.
13 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was quite a bit of stuff. So I think we should go a little bit longer.
Yeah,
So if you
To
guys
make it even.
to make it even.
maybe an hour,
even.
maybe an hour 30 minutes. So,
Yeah. Okay.
so do we want to jump subjects?
Yeah, I'm
Sure.
I'm game for.
whatever. Oh, it's appropriately.
So WWE,
WWE.
wrestling, AEW.
Wow, what a stark difference in coming off a little girl at a table dropping pins.
Speaking of Chris Jericho,
Yeah. What and here's the thing, we'll come back. We'll come back to the little girl at the table. We'll absolutely come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So SmackDown premiered on Fox last night.
Damn.
So it was, to me, it had a feel of pay-per-view. To me, it did. So, and I don't know if you guys didn't watch it, did you? Right?
I didn't get a chance to. I'm sorry.
Well,
I had a lot of homework to do.
Well, I'll fill you in.
I fell asleep.
I know. Kane.
Yeah, Cain Velasquez came out toward the end, as you know, and I'll say how I feel about that. But Kofi Kingston lost the WWE title to Brock Lesnar.
What is that?
8 seconds.
What do I think that is?
Garbage.
Garbage. Garbage.
So, and then because I was looking at the clock whenever he pinned him, and it was like 10 minutes till the show to end. I go, something's up. Someone's gonna come out. And so Rey Mysterio's music hits, and he's got a sling on his arm, and Cain Velasquez is with him. And so Brock looks like he's scared. Cain goes to the ring, tackles him, starts pounding on him, and then Brock leaves.
You know, Cain legitimately whooped his rear end.
He did, but
legitimately.
The problem I have with that is that Cain Velasquez is a UFC guy, and he's granted great. But he's not a WWE guy.
He's not. I agree.
So you got guys in the back. You got guys in the back who are going to stand in line.
Oh, absolutely.
Behind Cain Velasquez because he's a UFC guy. And, let's build a story with him and Brock.
I don't like it.
Maybe they'll carry it over into the UFC.
I hope so.
I hope so.
That would be interesting.
I would love
for Brock to get back in the UFC.
Well, he's got the WWE title, unless he's going to carry it over. And
they're not going to give it to him in 8 seconds if he's not going back.
Well, I don't know. I'm not happy with that.
I'm not happy with that at all.
So, I mean, I like Brock. I know he's money. Until WWE has a guy that can bring in money the way he does, you're going to still see Brock. So
he's always going to be there.
I mean, it was a good show. I mean, they had they kind of threw Raw and SmackDown guys and together, but they're supposed to do a draft next week, and so it's supposed to be brand your brand only. So, but on the good side, AEW started Wednesday, and I was pretty excited about that. It's a really, really good show. There's tons of people on Facebook that really, really, really hating on AEW. So.
Because Facebook is where garbage people go and pile on top of each other.
She said my favorite word.
Yeah, garbage.
So the assholes of garbage.
But isn't that what you're always gonna? Okay, and I know this has nothing to do with wrestling. Okay, but I'm gonna talk about the New Rangers ballpark here for a second.
Oh,
all right,
that's a touchy subject.
It is a very touchy subject, but let me tell you this. Promoters, they don't promote to entice the true fans.
No,
they don't. They promote.
They need new audience.
Exactly. They promote to the individuals, the casual watcher. That's who they promote to.
Aggressive expansion.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing. As a WWE fan or as an AEW fan or as an individual wrestler fan, it doesn't matter what you do to that individual. I'm always going to like them.
Right.
Because I'm a true fan. Baseball, do I like the fact that they're taking away Globe Life Park? No. I absolutely think it's I think it's the most beautiful park in Major League Baseball. But I can tell you this right now. When it's 105 degrees outside in the middle of June, I don't want to sit out and watch a baseball game.
A nice enclosed thing. And
Yeah.
I understand that because I love baseball. Rangers are my second team. Sorry, Texas, but, I'm a Braves person.
They're still in it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're kicking ass this year.
They are.
They sucked. Hey, listen.
Sorry.
Hopefully. But
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
agreed.
But back to AEW.
Yeah.
There's going to be individuals that are diehards that are going to be like, I don't like this, or diehard WWE or diehard team, whatever, and they're not going to like it. However, they're going to continue to watch it because they're going to want to have something to talk about.
Right.
So, and then the casual fans are going to come along. I can tell you this. My oldest daughter is a huge Cody Rhodes fan. Mm-hmm. Absolutely loves Cody Rhodes. She loved him as Stardust, and she
that's weird because he hated it.
Yeah, he hated it. She just loved the character. She just loves the guy. Loves Cody Rhodes. She stopped watching WWE because Cody Rhodes left. She stopped it. Well, she just might pick up AEW if Cody Rhodes is going to be there.
He's the vice president.
Yeah.
the vice president of AEW like operations. So he's the one that actually brings in talent. So
and I've always been a Goldust fan, always, just because he would absolutely do anything.
Yeah, I think he was saying that he hasn't been this happy to do a storyline in a long time. I think
That's good.
I think back when it was WWF. So
That's almost 20 years.
yeah. So,
but again, he's working with his brother.
Yeah.
And they have creative control. So
see, that's the thing with, I think a lot of WWE people are gonna probably think is that, you know, people are gonna say WWE's better and all this, you know, they got you know more fans and, you know, they sell more, which is great. They actually do, but
yeah.
Well, they said that before.
Right.
And they weren't for a little while until it really collapsed.
I'm just telling you, there's guys in AEW that used to be WWE that have creative control over their own character.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like John Moxley and they want creative control like over their character and what they can do, because like Kenny Omega's biggest thing, and then this is kind of small, but Kenny Omega's thing is like the Terminator. He loves the Terminator, and he does this, you know, goodbye, good night, and he points his fingers like a gun and goes, you know, pow. And so he does that. Oh. Yeah. So I was kind of late on that, sorry. But
By the way.
but he loves that, and it's a small thing, but you know, Kenny gets to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, I mean, I am super excited about AEW because I love more wrestling. I will always love more wrestling. I love storylines, and I think these guys, and AEW does a really good job on storylines and behind the scenes stuff. So they videotape a lot of good stuff, and I like it. So I mean, I'm excited about it. Are they going to be WWE in ratings? Probably not.
Probably not.
But it's
Depends on who ends up over there.
Yeah,
too.
but it's but it's gonna hurt them enough. I mean, it's gonna hurt them enough. You know,
they're definitely gonna feel it.
so instead of
feel it.
instead of having you know this number in Nelson ratings, it's gonna be like down here. So I mean, I don't think they're gonna beat them, but you know, it's gonna be a long road, and so I am pretty happy about it. So
I for one absolutely love the fact that they give the creativity to the talent.
Absolutely.
They know who they are.
yeah,
And it's always best to let somebody be who they are. Now, if that individual is garbage at who they are, well, one, don't let them in your company,
right,
but then maybe you push them in a way and help them find out who they are. But if you let somebody be who they are, John Moxley, for example, John Moxley is John Moxley, and he's
hot. He's hot right now. He's what they call hot. So,
but he's always going to be, because that's who he is. And once I absolutely love a character because they're that character. I don't want to see my character go to something else because somebody else told them to go to something else.
Right.
I want them to go to something else because they want to go to something else. And that's what I love about AEW. They give that control to the character.
Yeah. So they started on Wednesday. Their show's called Dynamite, and they're going up against NXT because NXT moved to USA, and so they're going, and they actually won the ratings this Wednesday over NXT.
That was their inaugural one, right?
Yeah. NXT is a good product. I love NXT, but they're not main roster guys, you know, and I think AEW is lucky that they're going against non-roster guys.
Yeah.
But people love, you know, NXT, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're not main people. I mean, because the NXT champion's not doing Jimmy Fallon. He's not doing the Carson show or whatever. And
The Carson show.
I'm dating myself there.
When did Johnny Carson go off there?
No,
Is Johnny Carson still alive?
You gonna pull out Jay Leno too?
Yeah,
The Leno show.
the Leno show. Yeah. So,
But you're right. They're not main roster guys. And that AEW's lucky that they're not going against main roster guys.
I mean, they got some good talent over there.
Yeah.
They got a lot. WWE signs everybody.
Yeah.
And they sign,
They sign them saying you're going to have to do this.
Right.
Except for Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Brock gets
Sorry.
Lesnar's a bad
Sidebar.
bitch, I'm sorry.
But anyway. But that's what WWE does. Yeah, WWE signs you. Hey, you can come here, but you got to do what we tell you.
They have a ton of people they're not doing anything with.
Yeah.
And they had their own WWE people that they're not doing nothing with, and then they're signing everybody else from Ring of Honor, from Impact, from Japan.
And that's
But why? But why do they go there?
Because it's money.
Exactly.
It's money. It's a paycheck. So
Because
I mean,
they know they're going to get paid.
So that's why I'm really excited about AEW, because there's guys that they're getting paid well at AEW from what I hear, but they get creative control and they get to do whatever they want.
And it's not a saturated market, so they're not just sitting in the wings hoping maybe, when they could be something good. Oh,
So-
okay, we got 5 minutes.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes.
Wrap it up. So then goodbye.
So yeah, this is the pilot show, episode 1, pilot. So I'm pretty happy. I didn't put any markers down on this too.
You didn't mark anything?
I didn't mark anything.
Well,
Well.
we can mark it whenever we go back and listen to it.
Yeah. So anybody want to do any shout outs before we get out of here?
Yeah, shout out to, again, my family, my wife and kids. Thank you so much for letting me do something that I'm passionate about. I know you don't let me. I'm a grown man. I can do what I want. But y'all being patient with me. I know I geek out when I talk about this stuff, and thanks for geeking out with me.
You're geeking out?
Yeah, I was stoked all day today. So, and I know my oldest daughter, Carly, her friends are gonna listen to this, and I know I got to give a shout out to them too. So, I'm not gonna use their names because I don't have their parents' permission to use their names.
Very
but
smart.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Very smart.
Shout out.
So you know who you are. I love you guys. Hey. Everybody that was that's going to download this, thank you for being there.
Thank you.
And letting us do this. So if we wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you.
Ashley, you got anybody to do a shout out to?
Not really, no. They already did what they need to do.
Well, okay. We got 3 minutes.
Big Dominguez, thank you again.
No, guys, thank you, because I think this is the start of something really, really good. I'm really, I can't tell you guys how happy I am. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean,
and we've got some good stuff in the works
It's gonna be fun.
for our
It's gonna be
show.
interesting.
Yeah.
We have
a
some-
geek book that I've been taking notes in.
Yeah, we have some good stuff planned. We have some on mic good stuff.
let's not.
Yeah,
let's-
I'm just saying we got some good stuff. I'm not gonna bring anything.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bring anything. I'm just
Listen, this is what's gonna happen in here. All
Right.
spoilers.
no way.
I mean,
I'm not giving anybody
I mean,
anything.
we're gonna have some good stuff, but we're gonna probably piss some people off.
Oh well, that's good stuff.
So
That's what I look forward to most.
yeah,
Because I'm so if I could just go around and debunk shit and call people out,
yeah.
like all these cold reading bullshit and things like that,
Super kick.
Oh my god.
Right.
Because I hate a liar. I hate people taking advantage of other people, and that happens a lot.
Yes, I agree. On Bigfoot and paranormal side, there's people that get taken advantage of, and there's a lot of good people that need to be brought into the light. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of crappy people out there too, and you know who you are.
And if you don't, you're about to find out.
Find out.
I don't have any people I want to talk about,
It's okay. You can help us along the way.
but I can definitely be there for
We'll
y'all.
let you know.
Oh yeah. So, but I'll definitely be there for y'all, and but we have some good stuff in the works. You'll definitely want to tune in, and keep track of us.
Okay. So that being
We're doing
said,
big things.
we're gonna close it out, and we're gonna go on to the next episode. So thank you everybody for being a part of this, and good night.